we're snowed in, so I think the whole state of Arkansas is shut down. And so I am getting to quietly do some more estimate review follow-up coaching sessions. And I'm working on a MSO, heavy DRP client and estimators, and they're doing something really cool. I'm very proud of them, and I don't normally have a lot of positive things to say about that environment. So I thought I would share kind of what they're doing, walking through the situation, because I'm just really proud of this estimator and getting out of their I guess comfort zone, so to speak, and doing things that they don't normally or would not have normally done, and then having success with that and getting to see that. So we'll just take a quick minute. I often get approached, and I always tell people, starting in 2025, I decided that I'm gonna get accused of a lot of things, right? Whether it's like, no matter what you do, you're gonna get accused of something. And so I'm often accused. There's a saying, the enemy of your enemy is your friend. And so there, like companies will get together in the background and she's picking on me. You better do something about it, or she's gonna pick on you too. And they have no idea what they're talking about, or who I'm working for, or what. So I decided in 2025, one, I'm going to be more transparent about who we're actually working for. And then two, if I'm going to get accused of posting things for money, then I'm going to start posting things for money. I mean, like there's no point in being, I guess, accused and thought to be something and poor. If I'm going to be accused of it, I might as well be rich with it. So there'll be more posting and posting and promoting and some things in 2025 too. But we do work with a lot of multi-store locations, a lot of single-store locations, dealerships, independents, MSOs, et cetera, that are some moderate DRP heavy, some of them are extremely DRP heavy. And an interesting problem. I noticed a couple of years ago, my phone started ringing more, and I'm thinking, God, it's got to really be bad if you guys want to talk to me about your estimating, right? The financial problem was that acquisition of new market share or more cars, let's just put it that way, is difficult. You can't continue to grow a portfolio by only adding locations. So in other words, I have 10 locations and we're doing 1,000 cars. And so if I want to do 1,200 cars, I buy another location, and now I'm 11 locations doing 1,200 cars. You have to figure out, we've been saying it forever, how to make more money on the cars you have, not think that you'll make more money by getting more cars. One, it's bad math, right? Volume doesn't mean more money. And then two, with claim count decreasing, reported claims available in the marketplace, and the increase of total loss, to maintain a profit level, you do have to start making more on what you have. So if you're doing 1,000 cars a month right now, you're probably going to be doing 800 a month by the end of the year. So how do you maintain the profit? You still have people that want to make money. You still have overhead. You still have training. You still have benefits. You still have all these things. So their problem presented was, okay, we want to make more per car we already have. We want to make $500 more per RO. And that one was really interesting to me, because I was like, $500. I mean, if I look at the industry, I'm like, in $500 seems nothing. Like I'm like, well, show me an estimate, give me 2 seconds, and I'll add $500 to it, right? I can make this really simple. So I was really confused as to why the $500, and then it got kind of broken down for me, and I was like, okay, got it, right? So if you look at average ROs per month, if you look at 12 months in a year, and you look at across all locations, that's a lot of money to add in profit. I mean, you got to think about it. If it's the same car count, I'm not buying necessarily more materials than I've bought in the past. I'm not hiring more employees. I'm not doing any of those things, and I'm just adding money to the estimate, adding money to the bottom line. I was like, okay, $500 adds up quickly, right? Makes a lot of sense. So I'm gonna not judge you on the 500, and we're gonna sit down and take a look at your problem. So we went through and talked about the business model, did some focus groups with some employees and some things, and there's a layer of issues that affect profitability on an estimate, and it has nothing to do with what does the estimator know about estimating. I think everybody thinks that doesn't make sense at all. Huh? I believe in the world of training or in the world of management, that everyone thinks you can train something into better performance. I used to think that. I used to sit at corporate training and a lot of things. And it's like, okay, we're going to change behavior through training. Here's a behavior. I want to change it to this behavior. I'm going to give you training, and that will train and that will change your behavior. And that's just not how it works, right? If I want to change estimating behavior and I want to make it more profitable, it doesn't mean I give you more estimating training. That you already know estimating, typically estimators. There's things you know. What's missing isn't some sort of weird or special technical or advanced technical knowledge. I get people call me all the time and say, hey, Kristen, we want an advanced estimating class. And I go, you can pass a basic estimating class, much less an advanced one. Let's start you where you really need to be, not where you think you need to be, and we'll get somewhere. So as we peeled back those layers, one of the things became evident. There are too many distractions in the collision repair center, and estimators are asked to do too many damn things. They're not asked to be estimators. They're asked to be customer service representatives. They're asked to be detail and car wash people. They're asked to be porters to take stuff to sublet and third parties, service departments. They're asked to be stockers and intakers and porters and moving cars around lots. There has to be like 90 things that has nothing to do with writing an estimate, but that estimate is the one thing that decides whether we're going to make money or not as a collision repair center. That's it. It's the only thing that makes me money. 1,000 things I can spend the money on that aren't boats and recreational vehicles and vacation homes, but there's only one thing that brings the money in. So that's when we sit down and we developed the panel sheets. So the panel sheets are intended to be a visual marker. Like, we don't park in the spot we're not supposed to park into because there's a sign there that says don't park here. We avoid a pothole when there's a sign or a cone around it. We are a visual and tactile species. I don't care how many software programs or apps or whatever you try to buy. They're not new. We've had them in the industry for forever. I remember in the 90s, like writing estimates for homeowners in the homeowner software, and there was these little buttons I could push, and that would come up and tell me everything I needed to know about asphalt shingles or pouring a footer or whatever. I mean, we've always had these estimating guides. There's always been some sort of software there, and then they're not generally not. I don't want to say that they're not influencing behavior because 20 years of apps and rules engines and things that are supposed to help you make a better and more profitable estimate. And we're still having people going, I just need to add $500. So we invented the panel sheets. They were intended to be the cone in the pothole, so to speak. But then we found out, okay, I need to go out and kind of train and teach people how to use them. So this particular location, just a couple of days on site. And one of the things that we do is it's the 20-minute walk, basically. It doesn't take more than 20 minutes for me to walk around a car. And I'm going to talk to myself. So we teach this visualization process of talking through how you believe what the car is going to get repaired and reminding yourself of certain things that you need to make sure you do. Too many estimators go out, take pictures of the car, go back to their desk, sit down, open up the estimating system and start writing. And they're using that estimating system as a guide. And then they'll occasionally reference back in their photos. And when you do that, you just create huge gaps of dollar amounts and things you missed. I used to have to do this exercise with a legal pad or whatever. I now use the Plod. I love the Plod. Stays typically on the back of my phone. There's a setting on it that will automatically record incoming and outgoing phone calls through technology. You can carry it around with you. You can also wear a Plod. So I can wear this one as a bracelet. It also has an attachment where you can wear it as a necklace. It's got a clip, you can clip it on where it kind of like it looks like a microphone, so to speak. But you just talk to it, or basically talk to yourself. My dad used to say that talking to himself was the only intelligent conversation he was going to have all day, which was a little embarrassing because it was me and my brother in the office and in the shop. So talking to us wasn't an intelligent conversation of the day. But you talk to the Plod and you talk around the car. And then by the time you walk back in, it has transcribed your notes through artificial intelligence. And I'm not having to replay a recording to try to remember what I wanted to do. I've now got a Word document that I can pull up and look at. And that document will tell me everything that I was trying to remind myself during the walk around, right? So my 20-minute notes and walk around, we just went out to a small hit, comp claim deer damage. And we walked around it a little bit longer than probably it would have taken because we talked through it as we were doing it. But walk around notes, and we came back, and had our notes. I didn't make them do the plot. Typically, it's one of those things that I request. They're about $150. I think the pendant one is cheaper than the large quad note one, but they're like $150. So obviously, it's not something that everybody would want to buy out of pocket. I would hope the shop owners would provide those for the estimators. They're invaluable. I use it when I'm walking the total losses. I use it on my morning walks. I use it just about everywhere because now I can just talk to myself, and then I get these wonderfully crafted notes because my handwriting is chicken scratch. So, but we just walked around the car and we made our notes. We talked through things. Just visualizing the repair. Don't put any preconceived notions in your mind about what you either think or not think a particular technician will do, or what you think a particular insurer will or won't pay for under a program. Don't limit yourself. Just talk to yourself about the repair. So we take those notes and we come back in and we sit down. And now as we've got our panels, as we start to like have an estimate form, and we have something like, I'm going to overhaul the bumper, I'm going to R&I the fender, I'm going to replace the door shell, I'm going to repair the rear door shell, I'm going to do, whatever that is, I now go to those panels. So here's a panel sheet for a door shell and or outer skin replacement. And what that panel sheet is like, okay, great, you captured the low-hanging fruit, the part. Please remember, estimating systems are built on parts, right? That's how the system is put together. That's how the system is grouped, so to speak. But only about 50% of an estimate has to do with a part. The money is in all the non-included and extra labor operations that aren't necessarily around that part. And so if you're using an estimating system as a guide, you will be woefully short on your appraisals. They will not be as profitable as they should be. So we pull out the panel sheets and we just simply check the box, right? The panel sheets are built around DRP methodology and pricing. So I know some of you are looking at like, protect the interior for $5. No, I'm going to be $24.95 or whatever it is. It's great. We went with average national pricing for things that 60% of DRPs report that they're being paid on. Things that we see in audit reviews of DRP. So we know that it's somewhat the low hanging fruit. There's some visual aids if you don't understand where cavity wax goes on a panel. So most people are like, I don't know, cavity wax is only when I put a rail in or something that's an enclosed compartment. No, we're putting cavity wax in hoods and doors and fenders and everywhere else, right? So there's some visual aids there. So we go through that. And as we begin to do that, a list starts to form. So we sit down and we go, what did we find just with 20 extra minutes of walking around the car? Well, in our walkthrough, we found $691.90 worth of additional materials. So that's material that is not accounted for through the use of the paint and material calculator, or formula within the estimate. If you invoice, awesome, you don't have to worry about that. And then there are some sublet items. So we're a big fan of, some things shouldn't be labor operations, they should be dollar amounts. And so a four-wheel alignment or whatever that is. So $691.90 in material / sublet type style stuff. An additional $1,432.20 of labor was found. Could be more if you wanted to change little M's to big M's, right? We all know that for the most part in the DRP world, the payment of mechanical rate is pretty hard to get. So we just factored everything in it at a body rate. Overall, in 20 minutes of talking to, basically talking to ourselves on our recorded device, there was $2,124.10 in opportunity, right? Now, the issue with that is not everybody is comfortable with all of that opportunity, right? Opportunity is whatever you want to make it. And that's what we tell the shops when we're coaching. Just because I find $2,100 worth of stuff doesn't mean that you have to estimate $2,100 worth of stuff. One, what are you comfortable with? And what do you want to charge? And then number two, what are your technicians actually doing? So just because something is available under the non-included operations or as part of what should be the repair procedure, if your technicians aren't doing it, obviously don't charge for anything you're not doing. Don't charge for anything you're not buying. So if you're not buying cavity wax, then don't charge for it, right? Like I'm going to pull your jobber receipt. The average use should be 1 can per week per technician. So if you got 5 techs in your shop, you should be using about 5 cans of cavity wax a week. If you're not using that, you're not following OE procedures and, I hate to say it, industry standard best practices for repair. But if you're not buying it, don't charge for it, right? Just because there's an opportunity there doesn't mean that it fits everybody's situation. So it doesn't mean that we instantaneously like pop in, all of that money on the estimate. So I was just super, super proud. They went back, they looked at the estimate. There's things on my list. If you go back and do the 20-minute walk around, there are things that never make this estimate, right? They look at it and go, yeah, no, I'm not charging for that, Kristen. That's crazy. Well, I think that's wrong. I would think that's too much. I think that should be included. Whatever. Awesome, right? It's completely your discretion to make what you want. First supplement was sent in and added $670.90. I'm a big fan of segmented supplementation. You've heard me talk about that a couple of times. Basically, the more palatable something is, the easier it is to get approved, the bigger something is, and the less palatable or the more anxiety it breeds because maybe there's a KPI or whatever, the less likely it is to get approved. They come back with supplement 2, $758.99. Some of that is some parts price differences. Not all of that is some things that we found in the walkthrough, but overall, an additional $1,429.89 in recovery. It's not 21, but it sure is better than 0, right? At the end of the day, that's really what we want to be. We want to be better, or we want more than what we would have gotten. So if I want to add $500 in RO, but now I've been able to add $1,400 to that RO, is that a better position? Well, yeah, damn right it is, right? Too many people get caught up when they go to a training class and it's all or nothing. So they'll go to a class and they'll hear somebody talk. I used to hear this all the time when people would go to Larry's classes, like late 90s, early 2000s. I'm not going to charge for any of that stuff. And I would go, any of it, like not a single thing that was mentioned in that presentation you don't think you should be adding for to your estimate. Well, some of it I could add for, but I'm definitely not getting paid for all that. Well, God knows you're probably not going to get paid for all of it, right? Unless you go to court, unless you do whatever. But if you don't ask, you'll never get it. If you don't start putting it on your estimate, it will never be market standard or industry standard practice or things that are other people ask for. If you never put it on there and you never leave it there, then no, you're never gonna have a chance to get rid of it. So $1,400 is dang good. Super proud of that estimator, super proud of the work they put in, the questions they asked, the way that they're negotiating that. That takes a lot of hard work, specifically when you're at a heavy DRP and as soon as you send that up, you're gonna get no, and you're gonna get change requests, and you're gonna have to explain more, and you're gonna have to do more. It's not easy. All right, adding profit is not easy. Super hard for some of these people because their estimators have been told, well, why fight, right? As soon as the insurance company says they'll make estimate change, if I don't change it, my boss is going to come yell at me and tell me that I need to not make them mad or whatever. So I'm proud of it. Is there probably, if I didn't do just the 20-minute walk around, if I went back in and I sat down with the OE procedures and I started pulling everything up, might have added $5,000 more to that estimate, right? Might not have, I don't know. But just a simple walk around without really investments of a whole lot of time adds a lot. And then what does that look at? Well, I mean, let's think about it. If I look at how much money just $500 more per estimate was going to add to the bottom line, imagine what $1,200 more per estimate would add to the bottom line year over year for this particular company, right? Let's put it that this particular company. That's a fantastic amount of money. That's fantastic for that store manager, regional manager. I mean, as that thing climbs up the hill, that's just good stuff. It's not heavy controversial things. It's not things that are going to get you in trouble with your DRP relationships. They're things you've got to do. They're things that are very clearly not covered under operations, and there are additional materials and some things, and you just line item that out, right? Just getting another $500 for materials is great. If we look across the industry right now, I think it was last summer, CCC put out a report, the average DRP estimate, somewhere around $6,400, somewhere in there. When we go to shops that we're working with, their average appraisal is somewhere around 38 or 4. So if you just stay within the industry average of what a software provider says other DRPs are writing and compare, and you're not in that $6,400 range or more, then that's your opportunity, right? You have a chance to raise what you can get and not be an outlier in the market. There's never a good thing about being the top of the chart, and there's never a good thing about being the bottom of the chart, right? There's a lot of targeting that goes with that. So yeah, just super proud. I mean, I think anybody that puts in the work, and it's work as an estimator to get more and to get those things approved, it's harder in that DRP environment. Super proud of this group for offering estimator support, for wanting to get better, to get more profitable. It's not easy. So finally, something good to say. If you're interested in increasing your severity in 2025, learning how to make more money on less cars, or learning how to make more money on the cars you have, because I don't think anybody's going to be able to increase their volume based on where we're going with claim count. There are a couple of options. We have started delivering private coaching sessions. So instead of big estimating classes where I've got 30 people in them, we are doing private sessions that are 3 days long, maximum of 5 people in that session. Some of our clients block those sessions out, so it's only their employees in there, so they don't have to worry about any issues of anybody hearing something else, or somebody trying to steal their employees after they've been trained, et cetera. That happens. So those can be select members of the shop. You can get on Melanie's schedule for when those are. We ask you to bring your files with you. So we're having one here in a week. No, 2 weeks. 2 weeks we have one here. And everybody's like, what's the agenda? I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, what do you mean you don't know? I'm like, we're working your files, dude. So like, we want you to bring your files with you. We want to help you with your supplements in process while we can think through them with you. We want to have dialogue about that. We want to hear you talk to customers. We want to have feedback on customer relations and negotiating with insurers. I mean, like, that's why the group is small, is that we're going to do your stuff more than we're going to do my stuff. There are some hands-on exercises. There are some inspections and things that we will do. I like to think of it as a profit boot camp. But we're gonna cover lots of things, mostly time management, what your day should look like as an estimator, and some of those things. If you don't have a copy of the panel sheets, if you have not thought about implementing some sort of visual tool to help you capture more dollars, or to remind yourself before you lock an estimate, they are available on your website, on our website. They can be customized for your shop. So if you don't like $10 for what's the word I'm looking for? If you don't like paying $10 for what have I got here? Washing the grease, the bed of the truck. So this is a bedside panel replacement document. If you want more than $10 to do that before you change a bed, you can. You can 2 pages on the bedside replacement, bumper replacement. If you're using, let's say, like PPG One Choice, and your prep kit for a bumper is, I think that thing's like $42 right now, and 15 is not enough. We can customize those for you. If you don't want them customized, then you can just get the general version. You can make your own prices. They're meant for you to check them off. So you have that ability to, as you go through and touch, check off, that I put this on the estimate, that I address this, or whatever. I can tell you, I started doing this as for a living in 1995. I mean, in the writing estimates since I was probably old enough to walk, in old crash books and working in dad's shop. It's now a piece of software that's going to instantaneously make you more profitable. I wish there was. If there was, I'd invent it. I try to make some money off of it. Derek and I go back and forth on this all the time. What if we could do this? What if this? Could we make this? Could we build this rule in? Could we do whatever? And then I still go back to the shop aspect of the estimator's going to get busy. Life's going to happen. This customer's going to call. Enterprise is going to call for the 37th rental update of the day. All this is going to be, and you're going to forget to run it through a system, or you're going to think that's too much, or that system's going to be down because something went out. I think we all woke up this morning to estimating system down, right? Pieces of paper are never down. Pieces of paper sitting on your desk never get forgot. They're there. Turnover, like, I can get a system implemented, I can get a shop humming, and then an estimator quits or retires or whatever, and then the system goes to hell in a handbasket. And then getting everybody back up to speed, pieces of paper transfer to another person pretty easy as well. So if you have questions, obviously reach out to Melanie. I tell everybody, She's the brains of the operation. So any questions that you have, coaching sessions, audits, on-site, anything to help your estimators just capture more dollars, right? You're doing it, your techs are doing the work, you're spending the materials, you're buying the products. But anything that'll help you capture those, just let us know. We have estimate reviews. We will look at your current estimates and give you back notes on what's lacking and where things should be, attention should be. But just shoot Melanie a message and she will handle any questions that you have, or if you need to get on a phone call with one of us, me, Larry, Jason, Rachel, any of the team, she will make those arrangements. So hopefully everybody has a fantastic weekend. Looks like we're snowed in probably for the next 3 or 4 days. And I'm probably going to do things that I shouldn't at 50 something years old. May or may not be back Monday. I did verify that my health insurance premium is paid. So that's going to be well. The last time I broke a bone was on an Allstate cruise. So I'm, I am prone to do stupid things and break bones. So but this time it'll be on my dime, not on Allstate's dime. So awesome. Everybody have a fantastic and wonderful weekend, and just keep writing better sheets and keep getting paid for what you do.